Okay, hello everyone. We're doing the Freedom Formula. And it is in March of 2019 that we are doing this together. And all of you are here because you are elite clients. So amazing. So hello. And we're going to start off by getting the energy flowing by hearing what is a success that you have had in the past little while since we saw each other. Then we're going to roll through the Freedom Formula. I'm going to leave space at the end for questions. There's going to be a few activities that you're going to do along the way. And then, yeah, we'll have time to do a little chit chat. I know some of you have to leave a little bit early and some will be joining late, and that's okay. And just so you know, during the video time, I'm going to pull off video and I'm going to move up the slide. Okay. So in a quick, like 2-3 sentences each, let us know what's a success that you have had, or it's maybe not, you don't feel like it's a success, but it's something you're proud of because you got through it. Who wants to start us off?
I'll start.
Yay, Brenda.
So my success is that I had my first paid corporate, Diane, you know this, but not everybody does, my first paid corporate presentation on March 7th. So just last week, I think.
Woo!
Yeah.
Good. So good. Did you say paid? Did you tell everyone it was paid?
Paid, yes, I said that.
Okay, good. And like good pay.
Yeah, what I wanted.
Super proud of you. Awesome.
Yeah, really good.
Okay. Danielle, I'm just going to go in my circle here.
I think my biggest success that I'm super proud of is that it's still in process, but I've made significant progress, kind of starting to purge the apartment and get rid of things and move things around. And I'm really, really happy about that. It's not finished, but I've made significant progress. It feels really good.
Significant is an awesome word for this for you. Congrats.
Yeah, feels great.
Good. Susan, how about you?
I'm actually going to repeat one that I told Danielle and you when there were just the three of us on a call, that I did my corporate tax return at the 11th hour, finished, got it submitted January 31st, and 3 weeks later found out that I got Scientific Research Tax Credit Award for that year.
Yay! Amazing. So good. So good. Now, is Kathy going to be talking or is she listening?
She's muted.
Typing. I'm typing.
Oh, okay. Do you prefer to type or you want to talk?
For right now, yes. I'll type.
Okay. While you're typing, we'll go to Lainey.
Hi, everyone. A success for me is I completed NLP practitioner training. Wow. So I'm happy about that. And now I'm doing the master training and I'm really feeling good about where my career is. And yeah, totally different worlds between this year and last year.
Yeah. There's your smile. I'm like, you're super serious there. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. And Cora, how about you?
Since we last got together, I started my certification program for coaching, and I've got so far 7 paying clients. I wanted 10, but I still I've got 4 more people to follow up with this week that contacted. I've been in touch with while I was on holidays. So super pumped about that. Exciting.
Amazing.
I had my first supervised coaching call this morning and it went really well. Yeah.
Yes. And so I actually did 2 emergency calls over the weekend or what was classified as my weekend because it was Friday to Sunday. And so ladies, remember you have those when in need, just text me. I know Cora got the play-by-play of like, okay, going to Costco. I was actually at the pool with the kids when I messaged you, and I'm going to Costco now, but at the park. And so it's totally fine. And I know Deb used one at like 10:30 at night. So you are more than welcome to at any point try, and I'll let you know my earliest availability. So nice.
Yeah, that was very helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Katie, how about you?
I've made some really significant progress in the speaking side of my business. So I finished my program that is now what I'm selling from the stage. And I have a couple more speaking engagements lined up, one of them for this week at Scotiabank, which I'm pretty excited about.
Amazing. Amazing. And you didn't mention you actually did sell.
Yes. I had an event last week.
So she offered, and then people said yes.
Yeah.
So
people who might be on this call right now.
well, amazing. And let me read Kathy's, and then we'll go to Nicole. Kathy, a success for me has been moving onto the international stage. Corporate business signed up in Georgia. Woo! Several new customers. Also been chosen as a guest speaker for a variety of lunch and learns, teaching relationship marketing, started a business plan with send out cards as a backbone, and using some of my customers as guinea pig to see how it will work. Building my business mind and getting more clarity. I'll chat as I'm at work doing some classes. I'll chat as I'm at work. Yes. Okay. So you talk when you want to talk, and otherwise you type. That's what you mean. Okay. Cool. Yay. Good. Awesome work, Kathy. And Nicole.
I had a manager from a gym in the town that we're moving to reach out to me on Facebook last week, or 2 weeks ago, and I had a call with her last week and pretty much have a job lined up when we get there.
Yay! So you can build the online business while you have income coming in. Oh, relief, eh?
Oh,
Relief.
So excited.
Kathy says woohoo. And did you chop your hair?
Before Christmas.
Okay, well, I'm only noticing it right now, or just the way you're wearing it is different, and it's lovely, is what I was going to say.
Thank you.
That's why I'm asking. Okay, awesome. Well, congratulations, everyone. What's a success I've had? We are at 39 women for the book, and I'm putting out invitations to some well-known people to be in the book to help to elevate it. So that's one. And I'll share, just share this. I don't know if you're gonna see. See the image? No? Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I just did a quick, like a rapid fire session shot at Tobin's place. Brenda, I know you've shot with him before. And so just so you know, they do rapid fire sessions now. I feel like it's $225 and you get 2 photos when you can get a group together. And so if Tobin is someone that if you guys are wanting some images and Tobin is someone that you would like to shoot with, I love shooting with him, as well as, great. Yeah, he is. He's amazing. Makes you feel super comfortable. Mm-hmm. So that was just one of the shots. He was like, dance. I was like, okay. that was the shot that I really liked. And then just on kind of just to plant the seed with you, I'm also thinking of, personally, I'm going to get some social media content photos done by Ida. I don't know if you guys have met her. She was doing the photos, little blonde, doing the photos at the Highcroft event. Maybe you saw her there. Anyway, and Gala. She was shooting at the Gala, if you were there. Dynamic Women Gala. So anyway, also thinking with her of doing some social shots for social media content. You know, you sitting and reading a book in a coffee shop or working at your computer, these kind of shots. So yeah. I'll be kind of putting that out there later, because if we get a bunch of people together, you guys can get a better rate. So just planting the seed. So congratulations, everyone, on all of your accomplishments so far. So we're going to jump into, clap it away there, Kathy. I'm going to pull it up on, I have to share first. Okay. Share my PowerPoint. And what I find is that when and maybe you guys know how to do this better. When I go to this, I lose all of you and I lose my chat room. I haven't been able to figure out how to have it all. Has anyone done that? Katie, do you know?
I think there's a way of like when you kind of hover over your screen, I think there might be something that you can kind of pull down and drop it, but I can't remember exactly how to do it. Sorry.
I'm going to try one more time, and if not, I'm feeling like I want to.
I think I might know.
You do? Okay.
When you're choosing to share your screen,
Don't choose.
if you go into presenter mode, no, I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. Not a problem. What I think then it might be better off is just doing it like this.
Can we just, one aside there, that would be a really good topic for like a little tutorial, is how to share screens and do these meetings and what software works. If someone can offer it.
Good question.
Maybe Michelle.
I should actually ask if Zoom would do it.
Oh, yeah.
I think Zoom has tutorial things like that.
And I'll go on and check. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it like this so I can see, I can see chat, I can see you. I'm going to pull me off so that I'm not distracted by my own face, because that happens sometimes. There we go. Okay. So we are here to talk about the Freedom Formula today. And here's just a little write-up that I had for it. Yes, and feel free to go off camera if you prefer, if you're eating lunch or you're doing whatever you're doing. So the write-up is, being overworked and overwhelmed and pulled in a million directions is not the desire of professionals. Instead, most would prefer freedom. Financial freedom, time freedom, or both. While these are often the initial or underlying reason for why we do what we do, they can feel very elusive. But it is possible to have a quick shift and have more happiness now without it taking long years of hard work. So I'm going to share with you my formula to bring you not only the success you want, but also how to double your income, impact on others, and inspiration for doing it all. And the best part is that it can be applied not only to your business, but in all areas of your life. So we're going to talk today about the one way to live, even in tough situations, for better results, how to avoid the 3 mistakes the smartest, most hardworking, and genuine people make so you can boost your bottom line, and the simple secret used by the top 3% of the wealthiest people and how you can implement it right away to have huge success. So I'm curious, ladies, what part of that do you like the most? Which part of that sounds the most intriguing for you? You can just yell it out or you can type it in, whatever you want. Kathy, all of it, of course.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. Pretty much sums it up.
Good. Okay, so I'm curious, how many of you want more financial freedom? You can just show hands. Okay, time freedom. Okay, both. So everybody wants both. Good. So first of all, I just want to say, and I always want to say this, is thanks for coming today, guys, because I know this is 2 hours out of your workday. But it is a time investment for yourself, and being here live means that we're able to kind of talk and work through things. So hi, Deb, welcome. What I'd love, Deb, as well, we're kind of just getting into it. We've already heard from everyone one success that you've had since we last saw you. So if you would like to write that in the chat room, then we can have that shared. Okay, so thanks for being here, ladies. Whatever you had to do to be here, childcare, getting away from work and being on your headphones, whatever it is, eating your lunch while you're here, that's awesome. So today we're going to have there's going to be some tools, some tricks, some techniques so that you can bring more freedom into your life. Now I'm going to skip through. Is it not? Here we go. There we go. Okay, you know me. I don't need to say much about me. But the biggest thing I think for the Freedom Formula was that me and my 9 to 5, it felt like I didn't have the freedom to do what I wanted. I definitely didn't have time freedom, and financially it was doing well, but obviously I didn't have as much freedom with that as I wanted. And now I have this kind of life, and I'm not always jumping out of planes. But I get to be around my family and use a lot of my passions. And as you've seen, going to Vegas for masterminds, and I just actually booked in for the end of April to go away to Hawaii for my girlfriend's birthday and her 40th. And so the benefit of this type of freedom for me has been able to be there for my family, be there for myself. It was a work trip planned to go back to Ontario, but now I also get to, and Deb, I mentioned earlier, I found out just the other week that my father's diagnosed with cancer. So, you know, being that I've built this bi-coastal business is just such a blessing because I am able to go back. And I'll tell you, I've been like reading books like crazy about cancer to educate my parents because they haven't read a thing. So, you know, whatever it is for freedom for you, it might be similar to me, but this is why freedom is so important to me. My husband has this stability, and I get the freedom. Also, when Bodhi broke his femur, I was able to be there. When I was on mat leave, I was not really on mat leave, but I had the freedom. And so let's hear about Deb's success. So you just got back from a road trip to Langley for a deficiency walkthrough. Is that your success?
No, that is not my success.
Okay.
That's late. So, because I had to take a road trip to Langley.
So what's your success that you've had?
My success is that I have gone public with the fact that I am now a professional coach, and I have 7 clients.
Woo-hoo! Amazing. And actually, I would like to thank Deb and Cora because in Cora and Deb moving into their training and certification, that pushed me to do my PCC because I had the hours, I just had to write the test and I hadn't done it. And so because for Deb and Cora to get qualification moving forward in certification, they need a PCC. So that was a success that I've had, and I thank them for the gentle nudge to be able to do that. Okay, so I want to just let you know what we're going to cover, what's in it for you guys. We're going to go over those 3 biggest mistakes I mentioned, the 3 components to freedom. We're going to talk about the freedom formula, the simple secret that 3% of the population makes. You guys can easily do that. And then what I said about secrets to double your income, impact, and inspiration in business and beyond. So my first question really is, what is freedom to you? So as you think, I'm just going to go through a few images because when you Google freedom, this is what you get. Things like this, running on the beach with your arms up. Is that freedom? How about this? Jumping up in a field of flowers. Is that freedom? It just makes me laugh. Is this freedom? Standing on a rock with your arms open? How about this? Being not a caged bird anymore and flying free. And actually what's funny is a woman who came to Dynamic Women the other week, North Shore, she had a 9-to-5. She was a coach. She hadn't put her website up yet. So I actually kind of challenged her to have it up in a week. So her website's up now. And in this past 2 weeks, she's quit her job. She already got clients just from putting her website out. And her words were, basically, I'm not a caged bird anymore. I get to fly free. Is this closer to what freedom looks like for you? An umbrella on a sunny day in a field. Or how about this? So what we're seeing in common is this arms open, nature, kind of jubilee feeling. But what is freedom for you? And that's so important to know. So if you haven't yet, take a moment, write it down. What does freedom actually look like for you? You can type it in the chat room if you want. We can get a few people sharing. Okay, who's ready? Go ahead, Deb.
Freedom for me is being barefoot.
Yeah.
And that was the decision when I came back from my vacation last summer, and I went straight into my first coaching training program, and we had to go around and do a mingle and what's your dream? And I had just been barefoot for 2 weeks, and I realized that's what I want more of, is to be barefoot. And which means, you know, that's now symbolic for a bunch of other things, but it's freedom. It's not having, to wear shoes if I don't want to. right? And I've described my real estate business as a pair of really fantastic shoes that looked great on me. Everybody else thought, wow, those shoes are great. You look great in those shoes, but they were too tight.
Yep, that's a metaphor for a lot of things.
Yeah.
Okay, so Danielle's saying time to herself, time to read for fun. Yeah, so freedom to choose what you want to do with your time. Cora's saying freedom is the ability to do what I want, when I want, with whom I want, travel, work, family, etc. Katie says freedom for me is an internal feeling of being 100% present, embracing spontaneity, being in nature. Awesome. Brenda, time and money to pursue what brings her joy, music, theater, etc. Anyone else still want to share? Nicole, freedom for me is not worrying about paying bills, traveling without worry.
I think it all comes down to the ability to choose.
Great. So choice. Freedom of choice really is the biggest thing. Ability to choose what you want, when you want, and for it to fit you without limitations. Someone asked me the other day, do you feel that you're wealthy? Because she was trying to define it properly. And I said, you know, there's a part of me that thinks wealthy is flying first class and going into any store and not looking at a price tag. I said, but I also think that wealthy is in relationships, and Lainey says trust. Maybe freedom is trust. So Kathy, yeah, freedom is spontaneity, taking a trip whenever and wherever. So having the funds to do it, the time to do it, not being locked down with responsibility, being able to do it. So we've got a nice idea of what freedom is. And this is oftentimes what people are trying to get, is that freedom. Let me click back on here. So some people think freedom is this, like just having enough money. American money is even better, right? Having enough money, and it just seems to freely flow. Danielle says no backlog. For me, that's huge. Yeah, so not a big list of responsibilities that had to be done yesterday, sort of thing. Having freedom of time is good. Ability, freedom of space. And actually, I have to laugh, and I haven't told you yet, Deb, but this probably reminds you of The Big Leap, the book you told me about. So remember I said my paradigm is I boldly jump into my better life. Then like 2 days later, I started listening to the Big Leap, which was already on Audible, already on my phone, but I didn't realize the cover photo. And this is exactly what I explained to you guys about the pond and the jumping and the fishbowl thing. And so it was so crazy when I saw that cover art and I went, oh my gosh. And so now my paradigm is around I boldly leap into, what was it, beyond my upper limits. So there we go. How cool how it's all shaping, you guys are shaping my life as well. So this is my definition. Freedom is when you can work your passions and live the lifestyle you want for as long as you want. So that's just what it is for me. And so I was thinking, well, how do we get freedom then? And that's kind of where I came to the freedom formula, was we need to have something that easily helps us to know whether we are in freedom or not in freedom. And this really was pointed out to me in one of my, dynamic year, and I'll just, since I'm talking about this right now, I will pull myself off. I'll put myself back on video. So it was so funny because after, I think I'd mentioned to you ladies that Dynamic Year started off as a 45-minute presentation. And the 45-minute presentation I did, and that's where I met Michelle Abraham. And Michelle Abraham then reached out to me a week or two later and said, hey, do you want to go to California to see Brendon Burchard and go to Experts Academy? And I'm like, who's Brendon Burchard? What's Experts Academy? And I don't even know you, and you're asking me like, what is going on? And so I very nicely said, what made you ask me? Like, I don't really even know you, or you don't really know me. And she said, because I thought, who has freedom of schedule? Who would be able to do this and whose values would align with mine, that they like personal and professional development? So it was that freedom that made her reach out to me, because she knew I had it and a lot of people didn't. So I also got invited to go to Hawaii for a week with this girlfriend. She only has like 3 spots and I'm not her closest friend. And I'm like, honored that you'd asked. Thank you so much. And she says, yeah, well, I know that you have the freedom to take time off when you want. And so it was interesting to see, like, maybe 8 years apart, those 2 experiences, yet people are noticing that in my life. And it helped to really remind me how grateful I am for that piece. So let's jump into the lack of the 3 C's, the lacks that we have to go into. And at any point, please ask questions if you want. Raise a hand if you want to talk about something more, whatever. Please feel free to do so. We're going to talk about the 3 biggest mistakes. You may have heard these before in another presentation I've done, but I want you to really think now of yourself and if this is something plaguing you. So the first thing is lack of clarity. So now, lack of what? Maybe lack of what's missing in your life. So you can be thinking of these. Do you lack clarity in what's missing in your life? Do you lack clarity on what your priorities are? Do you lack clarity on what your values are? Do you lack clarity on which goals you should actually be going for? Do you lack clarity on your big picture? Give you a moment to write some of those down. So what's missing? Your priorities, your values, your goals, what you should be going for, your big picture. Now the problem is, when you lack clarity, you actually do the wrong thing, which isn't helpful because you're wasting time, potentially wasting money, wasting resources like your energy. And so it feels tiring. Maybe you're trudging along, you're working harder, you're working longer hours because you're then trying to make up for the lack of energy, lack of motivation. Some of you at Dynamic Year met one of my clients who was trudging and working and didn't know until she got the clarity that what she was doing wasn't right for her. And so she quit her job. If you remember meeting Nicole there. And so she was lacking clarity on what really brought her happiness. She found it, and then she was able to make an educated decision. And now she feels like she needs more clarity on what the next steps are. And a public thank you to our Nicole for having a chat with her about being a personal trainer. She appreciated that. So thank you for doing that. And from time to time, I might connect you with people for opportunities and for just, you know, someone to reach out to as an expert in your industry. And I hope that that is okay. And yeah, she really appreciated that. So thank you. And I do too. So lacking clarity. Anybody feel like they lack clarity? Kathy says definitely sometimes the clarity is fuzzy, but she's getting there. Okay. Anyone else feel like they lack clarity, and in what area? Big picture and values. So if it is values, please know that in any of our one-on-one sessions, we can do a values exercise to help you have clarity on your values. Deb, you would have, and Cora, you would have done that in your CTI training already. So you have them, but I'm happy to work through them with you guys. And Danielle says, the more she works towards it, the more she realizes she needs day-to-day priorities and big picture system. Yeah. So it's good at least that you're self-aware of that. And Kathy says, want to get to the end first rather than the steps, as she's unsure sometimes as to what the steps look like. Yeah. Okay. So remember, reverse engineer. Start at the end, work backwards to see what the steps are. And as you go, keep reviewing and see what else is missing. So the first one is lacking clarity. Let me click. Oh, here we go. The second one is lacking confidence. I will never change this image. This kid just lights me up. So I ask again, lack of confidence for what? Is it the lack of confidence to go for what you really want? Is it lack of confidence to take a leap of faith, like Nicole leaving her job? And are Nicole moving? Is it a lack of faith in your abilities to do something? Sorry, lack of confidence in your abilities to do something? Is it lack of confidence to approach people? A lack of confidence to take a specific role? Let's hear from some of you. What is lack of confidence, Kathy says, in knowing what she's doing right? Oh, if is knowing I'm doing it right. I don't like to waste time and make mistakes. Ah, so that's perfectionism. Okay, anyone else? What do you have a lack of confidence to do? And this sometimes comes up as your limiting belief. And I've even noticed it a little bit with looking for the people that will be on the next Dynamic Women magazine cover. We had some of our internal cover girls, Deb and Tazim and Michelle, gorgeous front cover. And now we're looking for some people who I guess are very well known across Canada. And I had a little bit of a lack of confidence to reach out to them. I'm like, oh, well, maybe a few issues in or whatever. And what's fun is that CL, who's working for me, said, no, we just try it. Jen Arden, let's just go for it. I'm like, well, okay. That'll be fun. So here we go. Nicole says to be herself in an online setting. Danielle says, I don't believe I can be successful. So a lack of confidence in your success. Okay, Brenda, to ask for what her skills are worth. Yeah, so confidence around money. Make sure you're coming to Dynamic Women this month, Brenda, because we're speaking confidently about money is our topic. Susan, not sure that being self-employed is currently the best situation for her. The engineering world has changed a lot recently. So maybe not fully confident in the current situation. Yeah. But what's neat is no matter what, we get to figure things out. We get to explore and find out that information. So what happens when you're not in a confident place? Well, you maybe take on more commitments to boost your self-worth. So for the people that are overly busy, maybe you have a hard time saying no to others because you're not confident in just standing in what you're doing. You maybe start supporting other people's agendas rather than your own. And so these are good personal questions to ask yourself, like, are you doing any of these things? You don't get as far ahead in your own vision and goals. So this could be, you know, maybe you met someone and they said they wanted to do something, and every time you meet them, they keep saying they want to do something, and it's kind of gets annoying, and you're like, when are you actually going to do that? Or maybe you end up sticking with safe goals, or you miss out on going for the ultimate ones. So you know you can at 150% achieve something. Okay, that's my goal. Rather than having a goal that would stretch you, or a goal that would just literally take you to what you're capable of. And you end up working harder and longer at the wrong things because you're not confident enough to go for what is actually a perfect fit for you. Any of you having those symptoms? Nicole, you're nodding. What's true for you? You're nodding. So what's true for you?
Just, I don't know, taking on more than I can, but not following through. Yeah.
So there's even confidence in just sticking with what your goals are already, or confidence to leave something that you already committed to halfway through because something is better. And so you took a big confident step in making a move that you were thinking of making in 5 years. You made it now. That's huge. Yeah. I'm so happy that things are lining up for you.
Me too.
Okay, the last one is you lack action. And the reason why I'm going through these before the Freedom Formula is because these three, if you lack these three, then there's no point of even touching the Freedom Formula, because the stuff you put in, it's going to be crap and you're not going to do anything with it. But I know you ladies are very far along with these clarity, confidence, and action. There's just maybe some smaller pieces that you need. So lack action, what does that mean to you? Does it mean that you're not taking steps towards what you want? Someone's banging around. Can you just mute? Totally fine if you're having to do something, but just if you wouldn't mind muting. Thanks. Kathy says she's in full action right now, right into concussion. Yeah, and Kathy, I hope you're taking some time off, because concussions, your brain needs to rest. That's the mother in me, and the athlete that's had concussions in me. So just know we love you, and take care of your brain, please. And so if you prefer not to be here to take care of yourself, then go for that too. Okay, you're good. You're resting a lot. Okay, good. Okay, so does that mean you're, I don't know if I said procrastination? Lacking action is procrastination. Maybe you have shiny object syndrome, so you're jumping around. So you're not finishing things because of perfectionism or because of shiny object, or because then the lack of confidence is making you not know where you, or not jumping at the things you need to. So now, why is this dangerous? Lack of action is super dangerous. One is you can have high anxiety. When you're not moving forward, you start to go in a bit of a panic mode or a guilt mode. And it brings up a lot of anxiety because you're not moving forward and you know it. And then you start to spend more time worrying about the things that need to get done. Also, procrastination means that you're not getting ahead. You're stuck in one place. You can also have more feelings of guilt, regret, and you actually might miss out on opportunities. Just do it so you're ready. And the things I see all the time in people are, some people just jump on a bandwagon. Well, that looks good. I'm just going to go and do that. Or I'm going to try and do it all. Or I'm not going to invest my time into myself. And I'm going to feel burnt out. And I'm not going to have energy. So that's the trouble with all these lacks. And do you know of anyone who has a lack of these things and then ends up kind of infiltrating their family and friends with that same lack? Have you seen that happen? Someone's had a lack of clarity and it's affected their family, a lack of confidence and it's affected their maybe romantic relationship, or lack of action and it's affect people around them. That's the thing. It happens to more than just them. So let's keep going. Of the lack of clarity, confidence, and action, which one do you feel that you ladies could do with just a little bit more focus on? You can say it out loud or type it in. Kathy saying clarity. Clarity, 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 clarity. Holy clarity, ladies.
You know what surprised me actually was that, I'm like, I got this. But when you said at the end of the confidence section, sometimes it's not willing to let go of something when something better has come along.
Yes.
I actually have, I'm in the middle of, I've got this thing I think I have to let go of that was the start of it all. It's what I thought I was going to do in the first place.
Yep.
But now I've got options that are way bigger, and yet I still haven't had the conversation to shut that down. Right? So that has to happen.
And that's where I gave up being a certified professional trainer. I paid for the training. I bought all the books. Yeah. And then I was not in resonance with it. I did not want to do it.
But for me, it's like the coaching company that I thought I was going to work for. Like, I can do way better on my own. Why would I do that? And yet I haven't told them yet. Because I have a relationship with people, right? I have such a relationship with them, and it's just severing that relationship is hard.
Yeah.
And it's literally, basically, it's just kind of taken shape the last couple of days. But today, right now, this moment is when I first said it out loud. This has to be done.
So it's the action piece. and the confidence to do that action.
Yeah. Well, now that I decided, I think I was like putting off the confidence piece. I think was putting off the decision, thinking, oh, but this is a safety net, right? Like this is a thing. It's a sure thing, but it's a small thing, so it's got to go.
So how cool that we're seeing this in action right now, moving from one to another, and you're making a decision now with the information you had. And bless Deborah, who made the decision earlier to do it. She made a decision with the information she had at that point. And how cool that your ability and your confidence and your opportunities have increased from now and from then until now, that you now get to make a different decision. Yeah, awesome. And how cool that you're able to do more and make more doing your own thing. Yeah, so that was a stepping stone for you. That's awesome. So there's 3 components to freedom. We're going to go through all of them, and you might start recognizing them as well. And this came from people asking me, how have you been able to, like, I see you traveling, and even just this weekend, 3 people from random places in my life, someone in my complex, someone on my soccer team, and someone else, I don't even remember, someone at church. So 3 different areas of my life, they said, wow, you're like all over and you're doing all these different things. And I'm like, wow, I'm glad I don't post everything on social media. Then I wouldn't hear the end of it. But to hear that, it's always gotten me thinking about freedom and how I've been able to have freedom. And it's always a balance. And there's times where I feel like that caged bird. But these 3 things will help to make sure the freedom you have feels good to you and is in alignment. So the first one is balance. Now, you know the trick to balance, don't you? We talked about this before. It's not about work and life, because it's kind of like work is the feather and life is the rock. And we think that they're balanced, but they're not, right? Because what do we know now?
It's a circle.
Yay! There's all the different areas. This is a streamlined version of it. We know that we can add in our spiritual life, and we can split up friends and family. We can have a career and a business. And we can have a bunch of different things. So being balanced, it doesn't mean that you're perfect. It doesn't mean you're perfect with your work, your life, and every area of life. It's more about being equally satisfied. So if you ladies haven't done a Wheel of Life recently, please do so. And if you need a template of a Wheel of Life, you know, it's really easy. Just draw the circle, cut the lines, and just do it. But you should have you have a Wheel of Life in the different programs for me. And there's also this. I don't know if you guys have done the life balance quiz. Have you?
No.
Okay, so let's do it right now. So all you need to write down is either like left or right. That's all. So you can just make 2 boxes, and then just count how many times you're in the left side and how many times you're in the right side. But let me explain a little bit. So when I say the words feeling and thinking, which one is more true to you as a person? Not how do you want to be or how do you try to push yourself to be? Are you more in the feeling realm or are you more in the thinking? Okay, so just pick left or right. Are you more values driven or more behavior driven? And please, if you have any questions about any of these, speak up.
Oh, I don't know what that means, values or behavior.
So do you go more based on how you are like feeling about something being in integrity or something being playful, rather than the behavior or the actions that are going along with it?
But aren't they sort of the same thing?
They're different.
Yeah.
So let's look at it more from values as being the value of, like I said, playfulness, adventure, honesty, teamwork. So you look for those things when maybe making a decision or in making an action, and behavior driven is more of the things that you do. Keep it kind of very simple in that case. Okay, next one. Are you more receptive to things or are you more active? And please go with what you feel is like that first thing. Don't over analyze. Okay, are you more in transforming or changing? And this is more of a like a word and a feeling, word choice and feeling. Are you more into transforming or changing? Are you more listening or talking? And even though listening is my profession, I'm talking. Are you not afraid to fail, or are you driven by success? Are you patient or are you restless? Do you trust in things or do you like to control things? And please know none of these words are negatives, unless it's to the full degree and you kind of abuse it. So the next one, are you more about rest and relaxation or are you busy? Are you questioning or are you answering? Didn't say it would be easy to answer, but it's simple. Are you more present or are you more achievement and goals focused? Do you create space or do you create plans? Do you walk and talk slowly? Do you walk and talk quickly? And are you accepting or are you questioning? Then all you need to do is count up on the left side, on the right side. For my CTI girls, you're gonna maybe notice it's the co-active. We got co on the left and active on the right. This is taken from CTI materials. Okay. I thought I put all the info in. Okay, so if you're more on the left side, feeling, values, receptive, transforming, listening, that is more the co-side of the co-active model. That's, and I can send you a more detailed explanation of it. And then the right side is the active, that's the doing, while the other side is the being side of things. So if you are balanced between the two, then you're a lovely mix of the coactive model of being and doing, and that's great. If you're more on one side, like more on the left side, you're more on the being side. You're more trusting in situation, you're more present. Now, the problem with that is if you're way, way, way on that side, is that you don't get a lot of stuff done because you're feeling it out and you're feeling about you're trusting that things will happen, and you're more present than in action. And then on the other side, you're active, and that's great, and you're getting stuff done. But if you're too much on that side, you're going to end up doing things that aren't in alignment with you. You're going to end up doing things and making decisions before you've even checked in with yourself. So a lot of these busy people will do too much, not chill, take up a lot of space. And then they'll be like, man, why am I so burnt out? Why did I choose to do this? Oh, it's because I didn't check in with myself. So they don't use as much of their intuition, but they get a lot of stuff done. So where are we? So Kathy, Nicole, and Danielle are equal on all of them. How about the others? Cora is 10 and 4, Susan 6 and 8. So Cora's more of the being side, Susan's more of the doing side, but only off on one. Katie is more of the being side, Brenda's more of the doing side. It's not that you're reactive, Lainey, it's that you're active. You're in the action side. Good. So just one very, when I think of all your personalities, it's quite interesting, and you might be thinking of others now. It's one of those, if something is suggested, do you jump at it, or do you think, I'm just going to think about that. I'm going to sleep on it, or I want to just process this for a moment. So that's just kind of one example of how it might happen if you're on the being side. And the doers are like, sure, going to get it done, going to do that right now. So just that's one example. It is not a bad thing to be one or the other. You just have to keep in mind that you want to keep this balanced, both sides balanced. I was an overdoer and overaction, over too much on the right side. I'm capable of the left side. And it's funny because that's a lot of the workspace I'm in, but I have to make sure that in some of the work I do, I'm allowed to talk more. I'm allowed to control things. I'm allowed to be busy. But I don't want to be in that space all the time because then I get burned out and I make bad decisions. So you want to be in a balance of both. And I can send you a results thing so that you can know how to be in a little bit of both. I've got some info here I can just read out. So being and doing, if you're more on the left side, you're the type of person who prefers to be really present. You're very self-aware. You love having relationships with others. You're in tune with your feelings and you enjoy meditation or another way to just hang out and be with yourself and present in the moment. So according to the Coaches Training Institute, the being side is called the co and suggests relationship, connection, intimacy, and collaboration. Thus, the co in us is curious, listens deeply, hears nuance, holds space for others, has intuition, and nurtures. And for the people on the right side, you favor doing. So you're the type of person who prefers to be in action. You can make lists, deal with daily routines, and get things done. You can multitask, you're productive, you work towards succeeding at your goals. And according to CTI, doing side is called active and stands for power, direction, action, and manifestation. So the active in us is courageous, has clarity and conviction, takes charge, and achieves goals. So if you're wanting to get more done, be in the active side, be in the doing side. And if you want to be in the being side, then you've got the other part, the values driven, receptive, kind of go through those. Was that, do you feel that you were like bang on? Do you think that that gave a correct one for you? Kathy said that would be cool, Diane. I would love to read more about this for sure. Yeah, you can send it. You feel that it's a good one? Do you feel like it's said where you truly are? Here's some typing. Yeah, we have nods. Oh, Susan says she could have chosen either answer. Okay, yeah. So we're looking for, and Deb, you're commenting privately to me. I don't know if you're wanting to. Just a heads up. It's up to you. And so if you are a little bit of both, great. And if you can choose either, great, but I would like you to think about what your default is. I'm definitely more default right side, but I've learned to bring in more of the left side. Okay, so when you're balanced between these two, when you're balanced in your life, you're going to be able to have a greater impact on those around you, on your goals, and you'll have twice the ability compared to only going through one side. And I can send you more information, as I said, or I'll pop it in the group. And for Cora and Deb, it might be in your book, in your CTI book, if you have the same one as me. Okay, next. Let's see how the next one is. Oh, Katie, sorry. You feel like you're actually more on the action side these days. Yeah, and you're in a space where you're currently working on being more present feeling, so that's probably what influenced your results. Yeah. And Nicole, I feel like I'm default left side. It's all about the feelings. Yeah. Yeah, you have a new edition. I don't think it has as much, though, as my edition did. Okay, next, dynamic power. Dynamic power. Now, this is about learning how to not have power over or power under someone, but how to invest in your strengths and how to use them to reach the success you want. So these are going to be the components of the Freedom Formula. We're going through each of them one by one. So learning how to invest in your strengths and use them to reach the success you want, with two things I want to add in a way that is honest and authentic, because when you're using power in a power over position, you are not honest, you are not authentic. And the second piece is, and easily draws success towards you. So it's that magnetic piece that's like in dynamic you. And so let's see how we do that. Actually, first, how much power do you feel like you ladies have? You think you have a lot of power, a little bit of power, middle ground? Deb's like massive power. Katie lots, Kathy lots, Susan, depends on the situation. Very true. Yep. Cora a lot. Good. Good, good. So let me show you. And Lainey lots, and Danielle's is all mixed up, but the potential is there. Yeah. Danielle, as soon as you open your voice, my gosh, huge power. Huge power. Not just in yeah, it like makes every time I hear you speak, it makes me take notice, like when you're introducing yourself. But yeah, you're maybe in a place right now where you're making changes and you're making up level shifts. And so you don't feel as like your lots. Yes, it is very specialized, specific power, winky face. Good. So let's talk about your personal power sweet spot. And in Dynamic Power, that program, this is how you can find it out. So what you need to do is you find out what is the one skill, the one quality that you want to turn up or you need to turn up, not necessarily want. And then on the other side, it's a skill or quality that you need to turn down. And the personal power sweet spot, I'd say it's quite a magical place. And the magical thing about it is that when you can find the right mix of the two or potentially three, we don't always like to have three, but two for sure, you can find that personal power sweet spot. And when you do, your life and business will be more in tune. And more in tune with what? Your true authentic self, so that you can easily attract others towards you. And what's funny is when you're in this place, it's like the universe or God, whatever your belief is, actually starts to provide you with what you need. And listen to this, without pushing, without fear, when you're in this place. And it doesn't have to take a million years of hardship to get there either. So I actually found this when I was standing on stage, my first time at a Toastmasters conference doing a breakout session, and I wasn't given a breakout room. I was given the ballroom, the main stage. And I told my story about how I had postponed my wedding, and I fell into this, like, I don't know if I said deep depression, but I just fell into a low place. And I shared that on stage, and I don't remember if I teared up, but definitely there was emotion and a lot of vulnerability there. And people ran up to the stage after to talk to me. And I'd never had that response before. And I had people come up to me that knew me, but they were just blown away. And it was like people were asking how they how they could work with me based on just that moment of talking on stage, even though I didn't have like this big offer to do. So can you think of what is the quality that I needed to turn up that was successful then? And what was the quality that I maybe had to turn down a little bit? Any ideas? You can type it in or you can just speak.
I would say you needed to turn up, or what you did turn up was vulnerability.
For sure. Yep. Honesty, vulnerability.
Honesty, vulnerability. And probably turn down sort of the perfectionism and, have to do it perfectly. Can't show emotion, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So turning down it's like turning down that perfect confidence. For sure. And it was comments like, oh my gosh, you're like me, or it's so real, or I didn't know that about you. I can totally relate. I felt like I was sitting in my personal power sweet spot, that when I go to that place, people really connect. People love what I'm doing. They want to be part of it. Kathy said, turn down do it on the right and up the emotional connection. Yeah, authenticity is so very important, I think. True, very true. And I didn't learn that because I didn't want to be vulnerable in front of people. And I'm sure some of you can relate to that. I had always been, when I did things right and did things well, I was praised for it. I was rewarded for it. And so to show weakness and to show that I wasn't doing well in some areas of my life, was very hard for me. And it wasn't that I definitely chose not to do it. I just was choosing to do something else. And then in deciding to choose the story, I didn't even realize it would become vulnerable. It was just like a surprise. So I accidentally found my personal power sweet spot. And in doing that, when I talk about with dynamic women, the importance of it for me is that I don't want women sitting at home feeling like they don't have a community of women that they can talk to. I don't want women feeling like they don't have support, that they are the only ones that suck at something. All of that, when I share that with others, people are like, wow, you really believe in inclusivity. You really believe in women empowerment. And I'm like, yeah. And that's when people say, oh, I want to support what you're doing. So Lainey is saying, for me, need to turn up acceptance of self and others and turn down judgment of others and self. So with this lady, that might just be something that you need to do in your own personal development, but there are qualities of you that are so lovely. And so, for example, Lainey has a beautiful way of showing her gratitude and being excited about things. And so that I feel is such a great skill or quality. I know I'm drawn to that in her. And so maybe like a skill or quality, self-judgment is not a quality or a skill that we want to have in here. So both of mine were positive ones: vulnerability or honesty, and confidence, or, being flawless. So pulling that down. So you want to choose two that are positive. And I'm not going to go fully into this because there's a whole program that goes through it, and there are steps you need to do before you figure out what it is. And you definitely just don't want to be like, oh, it's this and this, because you haven't done the work to get to that spot. Deb, that's why I couldn't share, as I wasn't happy in real estate. Yeah, exactly. Kathy, my current philosophy is to be myself, my authentic, and just be, not worry about what I think or what others think, just be in the moment and proactively evaluate so a movement forward may happen. It's been working for me well. Good. So there in the Dynamic Power program, you will be given all the steps to be able to do this. Please do not just be like, oh, it sounds good. I'm kind of like Diane, so that's mine too. Or I like what so-and-so said, so I'll take that. Nope. That doesn't work. Because the quality that you might think is a good fit right now, or that I've even mentioned about you, might not be the one that fits best in here. So please go through the modules. When you come into this place, though, you're going to be able to glide over any obstacles. You're going to be able to make quick decisions. You're going to be able to be more productive so you can sidestep procrastination. You're going to be able to discover the secrets to when you're most magnetic. You're also going to be able to fully trust yourself, because when you're in this personal power sweet spot, it feels really good and it feels natural. If it doesn't feel natural, it's not right. It'll help you to act with clarity and courage. It'll help you to completely let go of perfectionism and move beyond any limitations and live a life that feels effortless. And you can easily attract more freedom or more money or more clients or whatever you're wanting to attract. Okay. This is my favorite of the three, because when I've seen people find their combination, it's just super cool what happens after. And it's just an easy way of being, like, okay, got to turn on my personal power sweet spot. Here we go. And so I really encourage you ladies to do the program for that. Okay. Anyone else excited to find their personal power sweet spot? Yeah. And once you go through it, and feel free to have a session to just confirm things or go through it, talk through it, whatever. Okay, last one. So these are in order because first you need the balance in your life, the balance in yourself. Then you need to step into your personal power by having your personal power sweet spot. And once your life is balanced, your business is balanced, then you come in and have your power. Now, what's next? Actually being a catalyst for other people around you. So having the dynamic catalyst is creating change by being positive in attitude and full of energy and new ideas. And I love this photo. Has anyone seen a child do something and you're like, holy crap, I could never do that. Oh my goodness. I definitely wouldn't do that. I'm guessing that's a hill and you're face first, but whatever. So it really shows us, though, to be a catalyst for change, we need to step out of who we are normally. And that kids are forever changing. They're forever growing. They're forever testing their limits. My gosh, my 4-year-old is just flying down the ski hill now. And he'll go up and do like the little side jumpy things off the side of the hill. And I won't because I haven't necessarily seen where they go or how big they are or whatever. And he just goes for it. But here, when you really embrace being a dynamic catalyst, you won't be afraid of change because you're actually going to be embracing it and creating change in those around you, in situations. And so I'm curious, if you could create change in a person, a situation, or an area of your life, where would it be? That was a big sigh. Is that you, Susan?
It's like there's a few of them.
Well, what's top of mind right now?
Top of mind right now is, it's like Danielle was talking about, the backlog of things to catch up on, because there's so many things that I'm behind on, it really is inhibiting me from moving forward in a free way. So, yeah. So, what was the question again?
If you could be a catalyst and change anything in your life or a person, a situation, what would it be?
Yeah, I would just like to have my life better organized and things up to date, so I can look forward instead of being in catch-up mode all the time.
Awesome. Totally makes sense. Yep. And okay, I got a few shares here, and Kathy's going back to talking about what we talked about before, so I won't confuse things. So, you might want to be a catalyst for change in others. You might want to do that for your clients, for your family, for your spouse, for your kids. Right now, I hope I could be a catalyst for change in my father, in his eating habits, because last time I saw him, he's basically eating a bag of toffees every couple of days. And I know that's just feeding the cancer. So for me, I have to be a catalyst for change here. And so how am I going to do it? In my personal power sweet spot. I'm not going to profess that I am perfect or I know everything. I'm going to turn that piece down, turn the confidence down, turn that power that I have in that area of my personality, and I'm going to up the vulnerability for sure. And I already kind of have, because my parents didn't want to tell me anything at all. I'm like, what is going on? And what was the results from the MRI? And mom said, we'll tell you when you get here. I'm like, yeah, that's not happening. And so I came in with full power on the right side, and that didn't get me anywhere. And so I had to really sit with it, and I had to up the vulnerability, turn down that confidence, and write an email to eventually, 24, 30 hours later, I got an email back saying, yeah, it's cancer and this is what it is and everything. So a catalyst for others, but we have to first work on ourselves, our life, and our own personal power, rather than moving into being a dynamic catalyst. And the thing that people get scared about is the moving forward and having big impact on others. And it could be in, you know, some areas, all the areas, but still I want you to remember this. Even if you fall on your face, you're still moving forward. And so be thinking about all of this stuff that I've been sharing with you. You're still moving forward. And I think we need to take that idea from children in that they're just, you know, they're not trying to figure out what they can actually achieve. Otherwise, they'd never know how to walk, and we never would have learned how to walk either. So, so now you know the 3 biggest mistakes that smart people make. So, what are they, ladies? First, we went through the lack of, what do they lack?
Clarity.
Clarity and?
Confidence.
Confidence and?
Action.
Action. And you might be lacking one of these right now. You might be lacking all of these right now, or you may be killing it in all of them, but it's always good to kind of go back through them. Then there are 3 components that will solve the problem. We need what? Dynamic what?
Balance.
Balance, then dynamic
Power.
power, and then to be a dynamic catalyst. Yeah. So you have the dynamic balance program, you have the dynamic power program, and then those equal the dynamic catalyst. And then that's when I get into other work that I actually haven't put together yet. I'm waiting on that. So great work for that. And now we can put together the freedom formula. Woohoo! Here we go. So you actually already know the components of the freedom formula. But now I'm going to share with you actually how you put it together. So what do you think the B is?
Balance.
Balance plus?
Power.
Yeah. So you take your balance, you add it to your power, and then you times it by?
Catalyst.
How much of a catalyst you are. So the balance is you're looking at your life, you're looking at how balanced it is, you're looking at how balanced you are as a person. When you add that to how much power you have with that, that gives you, you know, a certain amount, but then you get to times it by how much of a catalyst you can be to others. So that's that ripple effect. The first 2 are only in your own life, and the last one is in the lives of others. When you can do that, you can start to create freedom for yourself because it is going to be in other people's lives. So that's where you get the freedom, because now your life is balanced. You have freedom of that. You are making better choices because you're balanced in the being and the doing, and you're actually moving ahead, which is helping you to create more freedom. When you get to now act as your most powerful self with your personal power sweet spot, you get to sit in that place, more will come, and then you times that by how many people you can influence in a positive and authentic way to create change in your life and in all areas of life. So there's just the images again, and that creates the freedom. Now, there is one secret though. Let's get to that. You need a life plan. Okay, so how many of you have a business plan? Anybody have a business plan? If you don't, please create a simple business plan. It's just helpful. Don't overthink it. Don't get too complicated. So with the life plan, it's, you know, you've heard of a business plan. Maybe you have a business plan. And a life plan is very similar in its purpose, and it's vitally important. People often forget about this. But when you know what you want to accomplish, when you want to make it happen, and what your priorities are in your life in all 8 to 10 areas, some people have 8, some people have 10, you're going to start to live a life that you love. So that's super important. So you need to know what you want, when you want it, and how it will happen. And that white line is just a gift. There is no need to emphasize that first one. When you know this, then you get to create a life that's built on priorities. And a life like that feels happy, it feels fulfilling, it feels successful. And it's actually those feelings and that success that gives us the energy It gives us motivation. It gives us the drive to create deep and meaningful lives where we actually feel freedom. So if you could create, sorry, I missed your, Kathy says, hey, that's a picture of me on my filing cabinet, woohoo. Yay, I'm a child, haha. Working on our business plan, always tweaking. So she meant the picture of her falling into her filing cabinet, sashaying or whatever you were doing. Okay, so having a plan, it allows you to be the one in charge of your life rather than a victim of circumstances or stress. So I'm curious, ladies. Oh, sorry, I will go back to that. How many of you feel that you are reactive, and how many of you feel that you're proactive?
Oh.
At this point in your life, are you reactive or proactive?
I think proactive.
Cora's being proactive, Deb's being proactive, Danielle's feeling like she's moving from reactive to proactive, Kathy is reactive, working on being proactive, Danielle's a mix, Susan says right now she's feeling reactive. Yeah, and maybe tomorrow you'll feel proactive, and who knows. Brenda says largely proactive. So if you have enough time and space and you have a bit of a plan that you're actually moving forward with, without a bunch of things on the go that are pulling you in many different directions, you can be proactive, and that's really where you're wanting to be. Do you agree? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
And so you've probably heard my story about where I did postpone my wedding, and I was really just in a funk, in a bad place. And it wasn't until someone said to me, Diane, you've lost your spark. And the knowing what I wanted, when I wanted it to happen, and how it will happen really helped me to have a consistent spark, and it still did. So even when I had postpartum depression after each child, even when I go into, having hateful things said about me, I went into a bit of a funk. Even when I found out my dad was diagnosed with cancer, right? Obviously, I went into a funk. But I go back to, what do I want? When do I want it to happen? How will it happen? What's my life plan? What is the purpose here? What am I needing to do? So I just go back to that, and it really helps me. It helps to ground me and to keep me in the spark, because, when bad things happen, you can go into a funk because you're coming out of your values. You're coming out of the things that you're wanting. You're coming out of resonance. And what I had to remember in all of these cases is go back to the spark, go back to the things I like. And how do I know what that is? From having the life plan. It helped me to be proactive, and we know that proactive is a much calming state than reactive. And there's a lot of times in life that I am in reactive mode, and I have to pull myself back to proactive, because I know the stress and anxiety of being reactive, I cannot stay there for very long. It just rips me apart. So Nicole, yes, you have to go, because I know you have a client. Yeah. So, or no, you have pickup today. Yes. Okay. Mwah to you. Mwah. I'll post the recording so you can watch the rest of it. Okay. Good. So let's get to some stats. And these are good ones to write down, because it comes into having a life plan. And I'm curious, does anyone have a life plan, like written down what they want in every area of life and what that looks like and when it's going to happen and all that? And I'll admit my life plan right now isn't 100%. I need to, so if you say, I think so, then that's a no. Good try, Danielle. And Kathy, if yours is always changing, then you need to stop revising it and just stick with it for a while. Because that's probably why you're reactive. In a series of intensive mind maps. Yes, Katie, mind maps are great, but writing them down makes them a active goal rather than a passive goal or a wish. So having a life plan will actually make you proactive to take the steps towards your goals. It'll help you to be responsive to whatever life throws at you, and it allows you to have success that you've always wanted. So let's do these stats. These are in American, like Canadians don't do as many stats, but here's a good American one anyway. 3%. So this is 3% of the population who sets goals consistently are among the wealthiest people in the country. Do you believe that to be true? I'm not making false ones, but like, do you just believe it to be true in your life? Like people who set goals consistently are among the wealthiest people. Do you believe that people who are wealthy probably set some goals?
Yeah.
Yes. And Susan, you are so brilliant. I think Dynamic Year Program is a good start to developing a life plan. Bingo. And you're going to find out why later. Okay. So you are on the right track. Good job. Next. 80, 20, 70, 30, and 6. Now, I'm going to take you through this. Don't lose me here. 80% of people never set goals for themselves. Do you believe that to be true? You think so? 80% of people never set goals for themselves? They might set work goals or whatever, but they're not setting goals for themselves. Or if they set a goal, it's kind of like, yeah, my New Year's resolution is, and then they have a drink and the next day it's like, what goal? So of the 20%, so I'm only looking at the 20% right now. Of the 20% of the population that does set goals, this is how I got 70-30. It's coming from the 20. Make sense? So of the 20%, 70% of the people fail to achieve their goals. It's getting low, isn't it? So of the 20 people that actually made a goal, 70% of that 20% don't even reach it. So only 30% of that 20% reach their goal, which is 6% of the population reaches their goals. That's it. 6% of the population. And of that 6%, 3% are the wealthiest. So if you set goals and you achieve them, you're very close to becoming the top 3% of the population who are the wealthiest. And I know that's the States, but man, if you're the 3% in the States, you're probably more than 3% in Canada. So the important numbers here are 3% and 6%, because you want to be achieving your goals by setting goals. And then we don't even have to say to be the wealthiest. We can just say to have the most freedom, because I think really that's what it boils down to. This was, I have the website if someone really wants to go there. I grabbed that a few years ago. So I'm curious, how many of you want to be in the top 3% of the wealthiest people in the country? Anybody? A few people? These, maybe they're rhetorical. And how many of you want to be the 6% of people who actually reach their goals?
Yay.
Okay. So even if it's only to reach your goals because you want other things out of life, let's say then you're going to be the top 3% of people who have freedom. That's important. So are you truly serious about bringing in your own freedom? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Yes? No? Truly want it? This is what we need to get in here then. 3 reasons why people have success with their plan. First, you need to plan it out. Not just mind mapping, Katie, even though I'm sure they're beautiful and branded in your mind. So plan it out, then write it down. And then because Kathy said that she's changing it all the time, I wrote review it often. I'm going to say review it quarterly, or review it when life changes, like Nicole having to move. Review it when life changes. When I go home, I'm going to find out from my family. They're visiting the doctor tomorrow after 5 days of radiation, and we're going to find out where my dad's at. We don't know the stage yet. We don't know if he's having an operation. We don't know if chemo, and I don't know if he really wants to fight this that hard. So after all of that, I'm going to have to review. So after any life change happens, you need to review. And quarterly, at least, you need to review. Or when you reach a goal, review so that you can cut a goal out. Make sense? Okay. Life changes in quarterly. Good job, Kathy. So then you're not going too much. I just don't want you to be overdoing it. So you never get to catch up and you're always being kind of reactive. So there's the best type of plan. And I call it the dynamic life blueprint. It's not just a life plan. It's called a dynamic life blueprint. And that's what you are going to get when you finish the dynamic balance program. And so this is also my encouragement to you to be working through that. If you're finding that you're like, man, I need that life plan. So by the end of it, you'll have this. And here's the buy-in, because the saboteur is like, oh, that's work. I'd rather be watching Netflix. So here are 7 results by having a dynamic life blueprint. You're going to stay on purpose. So what that means, you know, it's often hard to stick to strategy when you have daily routine or interruptions. It's going to give you a summary of the main points of your strategy so that you're not like just scrolling through Facebook sort of feeling. And it's going to help to remind you of what in your but what your life includes in all areas, but what it also doesn't include. So the things you need to cut out. The next is you're going to make better decisions. So you're going to use your plan to refine your priorities. And it's going to help you to say no to fabulous ideas because they might not be the best for you in the time you have. Priorities, it'll help you also to honor your priorities. Honor priorities with your family or your fun or your health, and they'll have a higher place in your life. Balance is first, Susan. Dynamic year, then dynamic balance, then dynamic power. This is all in the dynamic balance program.
Okay.
Diane,
yeah.
Can you go back one slide?
7 results. That one?
Yeah, thank you.
Just getting some water in here. Okay. You also get to track milestones. We've talked about that importance of that in dynamic year. And if you've done a vision board, write your, watch the vision board masterclass I did to know how to manifest more with it and how to track your milestones with it as well. So having all of your dates, your deadlines, and your goals in one place helps you to stay on course and then celebrate your successes. The worst is to get through a milestone and not even celebrate it because you didn't really click in that you reached it. And I had this happen to me as someone who didn't do their taxes for 2017 and only just did them and was so excited by how much she made. But imagine the excitement if she had tracked it over the year. She would have been able to be excited every month to see how much she was making. And I actually saw that happen in the client when I went to her house when I was back in January. And her face lit up and I was like, what? And she goes, I just checked where my balance is going to be in like my earnings for this month. And I'm on track to have the highest grossing month ever. And we were only like 3rd week of January and she already knew that. And so she was super pumped. So that's another reason why it's helpful. So it'll improve your delegation. So you can start to see what is taking up my time and what am I not doing as well at and what do I need to pass off? And is that a good financial decision, a good time freedom decision? And that's where the difference I see in my husband and myself. I see in my life plan that passing off the house cleaning and the folding of laundry has to happen. And he thinks it's a waste of money. But I think of how much he makes when he goes and does a side job as an electrician, as you can imagine, and just thinking what a housekeeper or cleaner is paid compared to an electrician. He doesn't get it. I do, and I choose time freedom in my case. And 6, course corrections. So this will keep your business and life from flopping. It will give you a way to be proactive, not reactive. So you'll start to see when things go wrong and you can make a change. You don't have to wait for things to happen. You can start planning things. And by tracking your results, you can make the right course corrections. So if in the 3rd week that client of mine was like, man, I am not on track to making what I'm supposed to be making, she could make a change right in the month. She could make a change at least the next month. Imagine if that was the other client I had who didn't do her taxes in 2017 and she now was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe my expenses cost more than what I made. No wonder I didn't have money, or whatever it may be. So, and I only use that as an example because that's a current one that I've had. And 7, you'll understand interdependencies. So you'll start to see how one area of your life is connected to another area of your life and how it influences others. So you'll start to see, oh, wow, when I increase my health, I have more energy and I feel better about myself. And so my confidence in my business improves. My intimacy with my partner improves. I'm more patient with my children. I have more, I believe in myself that I'm able to complete things more because I'm actually doing those 4 workouts I said I would do. So you start to see how things are connected. It's like when I had a client who wanted to start a business that was very physical, and she also said her plan was to have a baby. And I'm like, well, how are you going to continue doing that business when you are pregnant? So we need to plan that in. And again, thinking of all areas of life, because I often see people with plans. They're like, oh yeah, I got a plan, or they go out and make a plan. Especially after they hear me speak about this, they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to go do it. And, you know, plans can work, and setting goals is important. And the stats I shared with you, they prove that. Then why don't smart people succeed? If they have a plan, why aren't they succeeding? Well, few people know how to make an actual proper life plan. Fewer people know how to actually implement it when they have it. And even if they do know how to implement it, they don't have accountability to make it happen. Or their life plan doesn't let them be balanced, powerful, dynamic. And so they feel a lack of clarity, a lack of confidence, and a lack of action. So all the things we talked about before. So it's not about predicting the future. So a lot of people are like, yeah, but what if things change? Well, that's fine. Things change all the time. But isn't it better to have a plan and things change than not have a plan and everything's changing? Or everything is really just set for you? So let's see. The key to your freedom is having the right plan. Does that make sense to you? Do you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have the right plan, you can actually do it. You know, I had a client who, she bought a business. She's like, I want to buy a business. I want to buy a business. I'm like, okay, that's awesome. And she wanted to do that because she was very unhappy. But then the problem was that she bought the wrong business and she had no plan to do that. So she actually bought a business that was against her values. It was against her passions. And we uncovered that it was the business that her silent partner, her mother, wanted her to buy. So yeah, that didn't last for very long. And I've seen many people, you know, my friends, family, struggle to have more freedom or make more money or whatever. And the most tragic part is that I see a lot of entrepreneurs like you ladies giving up their purpose or giving up their passion in their business to go back to a 9-to-5 for the sole reason that it just seems easier. Not because there was a reason or a really great opportunity, but it just seems easier. When you have no dreams, right? You have no goals. You're just reacting to what life throws at you rather than being proactive. So it's the right plan. Let's see how we make the right plan. So the 3-phase system. And if you've done Dynamic Year, I'm happy to tell you, you've already done step 1. Yay. That's amazing. So when you've done the evaluation part, when you've done Dynamic Year, you actually know what has worked. You actually know what didn't work. And, you know, rather than making lemonade out of those lemons, you're going to make what you want to make moving forward with the lessons that you have learned with those guidelines. So, first phase, evaluation. Second phase, ideal vision. So you're going to have a visual picture of your success. You're going to know more about what that looks like. What is one tool you think will help you with the ideal vision? It's a really easy one that you've used quite a bit with me, probably.
The wheel.
Yay, Susan. and Deb wrote lemon cake. Yes, I actually love lemon cake. Love it. The more lemon topping on the top, the better. Okay, so evaluation is your dynamic year. Ideal vision comes by using one tool, which is the Wheel of Life, and that is in the Dynamic Balance program, creating your vision. And then 3 is planned action. So you don't just need to know what things look like, you need to know what action to take, and not just what action to take, but actually plan out that action. You guys got those? Homemade lemon curd. Can you guys stop with the really delicious sounding desserts? Because my sugar monster is totally awakened. Lainey and I were, we did keto and man, that's the best thing for me. But right about now, a lemon cake or a lemon curd, yeah, lovely. Okay. The things you talk about that you never think you'd talk about, right? So a big warning, don't be like the 80% that never make goals. Don't be the 70% that don't even complete their goals. Before you go and make a plan, you must start with the evaluation phase. So anybody that's like, oh yeah, I kind of did my guidelines, I kind of did dynamic year, or I'm just gonna make guidelines because I've done this before. No, go through the process. I know most of you have done it. Kind of no excuses now, we're into March. If you haven't done dynamic year, if you haven't finalized your guidelines and your new paradigm, get to it, because everything else is gonna suck if this isn't done and done right. And if you need to talk to me about it, book a call. So do dynamic year. Here we go. Review your year so that you know what to do this year, and it's not too late. I often will do this with people halfway through the year to restart them properly. So just a reminder, the 3 steps of dynamic year are: you reflect on the past, accomplishments and disappointments, you find the wisdom, and then you create the guidelines. Simple 3 steps. But as you saw in going through it, there's some time that you need to put into it and some thought that you need to put into it. I think Brenda's taking notes, so I'm just going to give her a moment here. Good? Okay, good. So why review your year? It's the biggest wasted resource, is not learning from your experiences. Instead of capitalizing on this wealth of knowledge, it slips through our fingers and is usually just forgotten. And so often we jump into the next year and set up some big goals and then wonder, oh, why did we have similar results? Because you didn't learn what you did in the past. So for anyone who still hasn't done it, there's my last little soapbox comments to have you do it. And for next year to remind you to do it as well. So this is the way to build a strong foundation for your year. Because time is everything. And so we don't want you making the same mistakes again and missing out on how to do things faster. That's creating the time freedom. So this is the order: dynamic balance, you do after dynamic year, then do dynamic power, and one day dynamic catalyst will come out. I can't have dynamic catalyst until I have enough graduates of dynamic power. And as I teach you guys, you do not build a program until you have customers. So I'm not building dynamic catalyst until I have more dynamic power graduates. So that will come. That will come in time. So a recap here: dynamic balance, dynamic power, times your dynamic catalyst equals the freedom. Dynamic balance is the one I already told you about. So I'm curious, what questions do you have? I want to kind of leave some time at the end. Questions? None?
No, nothing.
Okay, let's jump here. takeaways. And then if there's extra time, I'll talk a little bit more about dynamic balance and the dynamic life blueprint. Biggest takeaways.
Having a life plan as well as a business plan.
Yes. And where are you, Cora? Let's get big. Hold on. I'm back. And I'm stopping the share. There we go.
There you go.
So biggest takeaways, one is just have a life plan.
Yeah.
And have it in a dynamic life blueprint. And when you go through the program, by the end, you come up with an actual like 1-page blueprint sort of thing.
Cool.
So I'm just wondering, because Danielle and I have actually been working on the dynamic year stuff still, but then we get down to the pink sheet you gave us, which seems to be steps for going forward. So is that kind of a condensed version? Is the dynamic balance and dynamic power expanding more on those steps to get to an outcome?
Okay, that is when we were live. I went to grab mine. So this is, it's on a purple sheet. This is, you would write in your name, and this is your plan. And so this is to put in your guidelines from Dynamic Year in the top left corner. If you were live with us, you did the new paradigm. So you would put that in. If you know your values, you would put those in on the right. If you want to go through values with me, we can do that together. I don't know if values is in dynamic balance. I can't remember off the top of my head. And then the living goals. So this is because not everyone will do dynamic balance, the people that are in Dynamic Year, I have you very simply go through goals, very simply. So we did the activity of, we went through the Wheel of Life. Then we said, what are the highlights that you'd want at the end of the year? And then we said, what does it look like? And like all that, and then pick 3 things that you would want to accomplish that would have to be accomplished next year. And so, with mine, exercising 4 times a week, having a joyful 40th birthday celebrations with my friends, having a proper 2019 product plan and following it. And then I have a financial goal as well. So I actually made 4, and that's why I created 4 spots, but you only need 3. Don't make 4 just to have 4. And please don't make 10. Have 3, and if you achieve one, remove it and then put a new one in. But just 3. But what happens in dynamic balance is it talks about having a dynamic goal where when you work on one goal, it will help you achieve a whole bunch of other goals. Make sense? So me exercising, that's going to help with energy. It's going to help with me going to bed earlier because I know I have to wake up early to exercise, which then helps me to not eat like, as my trainer says, eat like an asshole, because I know I've already worked out and I don't want to ruin that, which then if I'm going to bed earlier, I'm often not snacking at night. So do you see how one goal does all this? But I didn't say lose 10 pounds. I didn't say fit into a size 5 dress, which actually would never happen. That was me at 12. But I didn't say this thing because it's a dead goal for me. I said something that can make other things happen. If you think by writing a book, that's going to make a whole bunch of other things happen, great. Put that as your dynamic goal. But that's through the Dynamic Balance program and Dynamic Life Blueprint that it's going to show you currently what are the 3 goals that you need to have. So you would do dynamic balance and potentially then change your goals.
Okay, that's just what I was wondering. So maybe do a first draft as the end of dynamic year of the pink sheet, and then do dynamic balance and come back and revise it.
Yes.
Okay.
And then every year do dynamic year, and every year go back to dynamic balance and see if anything's changed, if anything you need to work on or work through. Dynamic power is a do it once, and unless there's a massive change in your life, for example, you maybe were working in, let's look at Deb, working in real estate and then moving over to coaching. So there could be a potential personal power sweet spot that fit her then, but now she's kind of unleashed this fuller version of herself. And so now maybe there's something she's more willing to be open to seeing and putting down. Just like your wardrobe would maybe drastically change from one place to another, maybe your personality now is allowed to shine in a very different way. So that's where the Dynamic Life Blueprint would come in. All because of the 30-day challenge. Yeah. And so remember at Million Dollar Woman when I showed you that video of me saying, hey, I'm doing this 30-day challenge. It's so cool that to see other people doing it and how that's impacted their lives as well. And so the girl that made that video, me, when I made that video with my cocoon coaching, oh my goodness, I was I was still me. I was still me, right? But what I would have said my personal power sweet spot then was I needed that epiphany to happen. And so that's why I created the program, because people said, like, even my husband will say, how did you get that? How did that happen? Like, I don't understand. How did, even though the things expired, how did we still get to have it? How did you get us to the front of the line? How did this? And I'm like, just did it. Just showed up as me, right? So people kept saying, how did you, but I don't understand. Like, how are you in that relationship? How did you have that happen? How did you have that success? And I'm like, it comes back to me being in that cool space, but it's so non-tangible. So I was like, hey, how do I define this personal power sweet spot? Oh, okay. And then this, what did I do? And then the steps. So it's the same with how do you create your Dynamic Life Blueprint? I was looking, how do I do it? And what are the steps? And what are the pieces? And how do we spend time? And if you don't know what your skills and qualities are, how do you find it? And so here's the 360 and now you do that. And so that's all in there as well. Any other questions?
Diane, what are we going to be learning about in April? What's the focus there? Is that not dynamic power and balance?
No, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you have during that time. So our 2 days that we always have together, the mastermind days, the purpose of those is for us to come together, for me to provide some training, some teaching, some coaching. I don't have specifics. I actually have on my phone a notes section, and anytime, it's titled Mastermind. And what I do is when something comes up, when I hear things from you, when I see things, whatever, I punch it in and then I teach it. So that's why I ended up teaching the IDA method or other things like that. And so I'll put that in. And then I just come up with the curriculum, about a week before or whatever. If you have specifics, you just write them down. And if there's more questions, then, oh yeah, you weren't there before. So it's very free flowing. It's like us in either a U shape or classroom style, flip chart or whiteboard. This is not me, PowerPoint, flip, take notes. It's how's everybody doing? What are some things you want to learn? What are the things you need? Answering questions, people sharing. People sharing creates more questions, makes me then go, oh, let me teach you this, or let me share this, or do you want to know this? Or then someone shares a story of success, and then that's, let's lock in the learning from that. And now let's do mastermind hot seat time. So you get in little groups and you mastermind, and then, oh, I heard this being said. Let's talk about that. And Deb, you had something funny happen? You okay? Okay. Yeah, so it's very free flowing. It's not like this is the program I'm teaching. It is time to get like down and dirty in your business and ask whatever you want and us to work through whatever you need. So, have a notes section on your phone and be writing stuff down. And if there's anything in particular that you're like, oh, I'd really like to talk about that or ask about that, and it's something that's bigger, just give me a heads up. And then I might say, that's actually probably better in a one-on-one session, or I might say, yeah, sure, I'll prep something for that. I'm open to it. So if you have questions about the program, and please know that I'm not in my programs every day, that I don't always remember what module has what. But if you bring stuff and you go, look, this is what I did and I want to ask you about this, that's great. If you want to bring some of your marketing material, if you want to bring a speech you're doing, if you want to bring something you've created, worked on, and you want feedback on it, that's the time to bring it. Any struggles you have, any obstacles, any opportunities, time to bring it, because we're gonna work through it all. Get the power of the mastermind group, but also get coaching and training. Okay. We good? So lovely to see you guys. So lovely. So the dates for the next 2 are picked. Venues and will come. It will more than likely, well, the next one for sure is at,
That's at the Griffin
Business Center. Yes, but we're in a different room. We're in the downstairs room.
The cellar.
It's the cellar, because it's called the cellar because it's the wine cellar.
Griffin Community Center.
Not the Griffin Community Center. And the last one, I'm not sure where it'll be. I want you guys to experience this space and for us to talk through how you feel about this space. If you like Delbrook better, whatever, we'll talk through it. This is also me learning what the clients like venue-wise, what's better for everyone. Yeah, okay. Any other questions?
I guess just, do you have a sense yet of where whatever the other one, the business and mastery, there's another one at the end of April? Yeah.
Dynamic Success Formula Mastery.
Yeah.
That you guys help. So it was supposed to be in April. It's the craziness of people's, certain people that aren't in the elite that paid specifically just for that.
Yep.
Because I know you guys got it gifted. So I'm like, if they can't make it, I'm gonna have to run it again.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Whatever.
Yes, you have to go to another call. Cool. Yeah, so it's no matter what, you will get invited to it, or you will get access to, we'll see about doing a recording or something if a bunch of people can't make it or something.
But the dates that were in that email aren't now right. Is that right?
Did I actually say Business Success Formula Mastery?
Yes, I think you
did.
did.
I pick a date?
I think so.
Then I picked a date.
Yes, you did. April 25th and 26th.
I thought that was the mastermind.
I thought that was mastermind.
No, that's June 26th and 27th.
No,
no.
There was 2 different dates in there. The mastermind was
I'm looking at the email right now.
April 25th and 6th or something, was it?
April 25th and 6th is Business Success Formula Mastery, and the following Elite Mastermind is on June 26th and 27th, unless there was another email after this one.
Oh. I was just looking at it, so that
I'm reading it right now.
Different.
There was something before that, though, I think.
Yeah, April 4th and 5th is the next mastermind.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe I didn't read all the way down.
Okay, good. Yes.
Are those dates all confirmed, Diane?
The dates are set. Whatever, I just don't have my calendar open. All the dates I already sent are set.
So mastery, yeah, good.
Beginning of April, end of April.
And then June.
And then June.
Yes. Is that okay? Every time I try to pick stuff, people are like, no. And I'm like, well, we can't push this off anymore. That's where I'm at.
Fine.
Just need to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, everything that's in the email is set.
Okay.
For sure, 100% set. Even though I wasn't aware of it is all set. Honestly, it's like mom brain with shock brain, everything. So anyway, those are all set because my assistants have to be there. And I have to have a venue. So yes, everything's there. And all you need to do right now, I think, is confirm for the next one.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And confirm your guest. Okay, there we go. Online training, yes, we did it today. And I pushed it up because you were feeling like you didn't have contact with everybody. So I was like, let's make it happen. Mm-hmm. And then, April. But where's the other one?
Oh, sorry. I didn't.
4th and 5th.
Yeah, that was separate.
Oh, good. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Sorry.
And, And you know,
I
if it
thought I knew
doesn't,
that one.
yes, yeah, 4th and 5th. And I've actually booked out the whole week in that room. So I have one space for a VIP day, either the Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday for anyone who hasn't done it and wants to do it in there. Oh, Kathy, you're going to be in Hawaii. The next location's after. No, I'm in Hawaii. End of April. End of
We
April
want
into
to
May.
go to Hawaii.
I know. And it was funny because I hummed and hawed over it forever. Do I really want to go? I don't know. I don't know her that well. I definitely don't know her friends. Would I rather go to Hawaii with my friends? Yeah, hummed and hawed. My husband's like, just go. I'm like, okay, I'll go. Yeah. Okay.
But you're going after the 26th, I take it.
Yes, I go on the 28th. Yeah.
Perfect.
That's why I was like, I'm going to do it right before, and I'm going to go to Hawaii. Oh, Danielle Benson 2020. 2020? Did I say 2020?
No.
No.
We're just planning.
I'm okay.
We're planning a vacation, a coaching vacation.
Well,
Diane, you said we could choose where our next venues were. So I'm suggesting Hawaii.
Well, you
I'm
know,
being funny.
So great. And what I really want to do is have like a Whistler 2-day retreat, like not necessarily retreat, but like a mastermind.
Yeah.
We all go to it and we're really there. Just, for now, I've really been keeping it to ease of travel, no extra financial costs, keeping it really stripped down. But as we grow, as the things grow, then yeah, for sure. Or like me booking a mansion in West Van rather than booking a venue. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, gotta go. I appreciate all the love and support. If you're someone who prays, add my dad in, add our family in. Ask that I stay in my personal power sweet spot, not in the like you have to sugar, because that's where I went first. And please, you have a success, text me, tell me your success. You have an emergency, you need something, text me. I ended up coaching Katie at the side of the road between my errands the other day, and that's totally fine. I'm totally cool with that. I coached Cora in the park with my kids, emergency sessions. As long as you're okay with it, that's what it is. And if you haven't booked one-on-ones, book them in. Even if you go into the system and book them months from now, please book them in. And if you haven't had your one-on-one, let's make that happen. Okay. Yeah, Cora's on Thursday. I'm looking forward to that. I know a bunch of you have already had it. And if you haven't, then jump for one-on-one sessions, use the booking system. For emergency calls, text me. And for your VIP day, just email me and let me know when would be good for you, and I can tell you, because I only have certain days that I do them. And I need a full day, so it's not as easy. So if you just say like around this time, then I'm like, boom, this day. Okay, good. Okay, I don't want to go. I can keep going, but my daughter's going to be sitting at school going, where's mom? So I have to go. Okay, bye everyone. A big mwah to you all. And go use that freedom formula. You have the tools to get you there. Okay? Awesome. Bye.
Yep. Bye.